Hey guys, I'm going to do another quick video, hopefully quick, of just say hi. Just some like practicality of how school looks at our house. And again, this is our house, but maybe some of these ideas will be helpful for you. And I also just want to reiterate to you, don't stress out if you haven't figured out exactly how it's going to look for your family or what you're going to do. I know when we got started that first year, it was just crazy. And even with this year, this is our 6th year going into homeschooling. And so we kind of have a starting place, but I guarantee you when we finish this year, it's going to look a little different. But I have some tips and tricks and some ideas that might be helpful. So take it, leave it, whatever. Hopefully it'll make some sense. So how practically, again, do you organize and do you do this at home? So we're going to kind of go over all of that as my olders finish up their math. Work hard. Okay, so let's start out with CC. We are CC people, and so we do CC at home. And so you should be doing 30 minutes of drilling your new grammar just like you do at community at home. I do recommend a board, and I do recommend that you write on your board because this way you can drill and point and your kids can see it. You also have the ability of erasing and writing it in as they say it. Or you have, some other tricks. We erase dates or names and have them, as they say it, fill in the blank. I do recommend that you point as you drill so your children learn word recognition. They can even start recognizing Roman numerals and other things. So I think having a board and having it handwritten is great. And that's CC's best recommendation. Latin, we say Latin when we drill it. But in challenge, in junior high, your children, if they're still in CC, they're going to start diagramming Latin sentences. And so Latin's not really spoken, but you need to recognize. So we need to our children need to recognize these endings and what it translates into. So even though we say it, I think it's important that our children see it as we say it. And there's other things that you can do to drill, not just the board, like flashcards and other things. So the board is just one mechanism, one way to drill. I have a big map. You don't have to have a big map. You can just use the map in your book or make copies of it and put it in sheet protectors so your children can do dry erase markers. There are these trivium tables that we love that my kids take with them. So if we go run errands or whatever, they can be doing their geography. Or we pull them out and they all sit at the table or on the floor, depending on where our school stuff is. As I do it, they do it. And but you can use, like I said, you could just simply make a copy out of your book. You don't have to buy that. Another option for drilling your new grammar is this. This is on CC Connected. If you have a subscription, you can just search Fridge Facts, and it has all the weeks on all the information on one page for each week. So week 1, we have our timeline, geography, history, our math, our English grammar, Latin, science, and there's the pictures, which is really nice. But this is only on CC Connected. I like it because it's colorful. And what we typically do, we don't really drill from this, but I put this in the car. And as we're driving, because we live in the country and we're drive back and forth, my kids, I'll have the CD playing and they're following along in the book. I also have for my older 2, they're in essentials. And so all of their essentials work is on here. So for each week, it's all on one single page. So like for week 1, we have what we're learning in our English, our spelling rule, punctuation rule, what we're learning in writing, our spelling list. So they're going to have a spelling test on whichever list they're on, and their vocabulary words that they have to put into their paper. So they can study this too in the car. It's a great reference for really even for me, but this typically goes in the car. But you could have this at the table. You could have this, sit on the couch with your child and drill through your memory work. You can hang it up. You could take it into the bath, like while they're taking a bath, take it in there and drill them. I mean, the thing about this is it's nice, it's portable. So that's just my take on how to do CC. Now we do another 30 minutes of going a little deeper. And I think in my other video I talked about my rotating schedule. So I'm just going to show you. This is my notebook. I'll show you it real quick. It has my CC stuff, awards that I found online, free printables that you can give your kids, catch them doing something good. My phonogram curriculum at a glance. My testing schedule for our Saxon math. This is where I have all my correlation sheets. So this is like the Magic School Bus. So for week, whatever in CC, this is the video they can watch for science that goes along with their science and the biblical worldview. This is my Story of the World correlation with Cycle 2, which I'll get back to that, supplemental reading. Vocabulary at a glance. This is vocabulary from their essentials. This is our English curriculum at a glance and our writing curriculum at a glance. So this is just for me. If I want to supplement our English, this is what I supplement with, but we haven't ever done that yet. Our English is beefy enough. And then this is, again, the spelling rules at a glance, punctuation and capitalization rules at a glance, our schedule at a glance. And then I have my lesson plans that I fill out as we go. And I got this, it's editable. If you're interested in it, I can send it to you. I got off half a hundred acre wood. You just fill it in. So like we're not doing CC right now. And all we started last week was math and reading. And of course our Bible and character. But I have stuff on here like even like chores and attitude. And their goal is to get check marks all the way across, having a good attitude. Anyway, this is where we are today. And we might be doing some phonics work. But I just kind of fill it out as we go. Then this is where I pull stuff. I plan first semester, and then during Christmas break, I plan second semester. Now, if we don't get to this stuff, it's fine. I save it, and they can do it over Christmas break, or we just chunk it. But so don't hold yourself. Don't let any kind of curriculum or supplemental stuff dictate how you do homeschooling at home and ruin your joy, if that makes sense. Okay, now we can move on. So I have these sheets I need to make copies of. These are going to be for my older kids for like this is week 1 on math. But for my younger one, my six-year-old first grader, this is just a little bit simpler sheet. So she'll just skip count and fill in her numbers. I found this on CC Connected. So this is where they work on their penmanship. So while they're writing their history and doing their geography, I'm usually reading to them about history. And then even here, like they'll underline it with a marker, and with that color, they'll come over here and highlight or color in or outline that section just to further drill in their memory work. And so the rotating schedule works. So like if we're doing our memory work, I'll put here week 1. That's all you need to put, because then you can go to your CC curriculum to show, if you're ever audited, what you're covering in week 1. Then here I would put history. And so we would do the penmanship, history and geography. We're doing that penmanship, and then I'm going to read a little bit about it. And then this day we would do CC's week 1, and then I would do science. So they would do their penmanship and science, and I would read to them some science book or let them watch Magic School Bus or whatever. And then one will do English. So they'll do penmanship of their English, and then maybe I'll do some examples on the board, some really silly, wacky sentences, and have them pull out nouns or verbs or whatever. So you see, that's my rotating schedule. And it's just a little bit deeper, like going a little deeper in history, going a little bit deeper. Anyway, so that's what these sheets are for. And the same lady makes one with English and your Latin. So that's what I have so far. I may find something I like better, and we'll do that next semester when I go to print. So let's talk about supplemental reading. So there are correlated lists for things like timeline cards, like what timeline card correlates with your history. That's in your guide. CC has science cards, so there's a science card for each week and then some that you can always read the back of, and there's, you know, a picture with it. There's Story of the World series, and then this is Cece's new book, Old World Echoes, that actually goes along with your week. So it says, week 8, and it has 2 stories and then a poem. So there's a lot of supplemental stuff out there, but I just want y'all to know you do not have to buy any of this. What I have done too is I have gone into our own personal book collection, and I have found, so this is a big floor puzzle. We're going into astronomy. This is like a board book I have, so I could read this to Maddie and Lori, or or the big kids can read it to her. We had this in our collection. I had this world book in our collection that they can just look at or maybe read an article out of. I have this devotional, and see all these tabbies? All of these tabs are devotionals on space, either the stars or the moon or the sun or space exploration. So here's devotionals all related to space, and we're doing astronomy for 12 weeks, and I think there's like 18 or 19 tabs here. So, then this is a book we have, which is just more on history, but it's like craft stuff that they can do. After school is over, you can get the materials and they can learn how to do some craft that goes along with the history that they're learning. So what I'm saying is you probably have books or games or puzzles or something in your own personal home that you can just do that day. And as you're doing the puzzle, you're talking about whatever you're learning about in science. All that to say, don't feel like you have to go get a formal book. Find what you have in your own personal library, or even go to the library and get a book. It doesn't have to be something Cece has or some list some mom has made. So that's that. But we have those, so we use those. Okay, so that is Cece. Now let's talk about, some stuff for littles. So Cece recommends, this is enough, but they do recommend supplementing math and language arts. Okay, so let's talk about pre-K and kindergarten. You do not have to buy a formal language arts thing. I think, especially pre-K and kindergarten, they're just trying to learn their letters and their phonics. We have done, Hooked on Phonics before. There's one for kindergarten, and this is 1st grade, and there's one for 2nd grade and 3rd grade. So something like this, and it has its own flashcards with words or pictures on the back that have that sound. Sometimes we don't even do this, we just do the flashcards. This has their own flashcards as well as some games that you can print or buy out of a book, and then I made little folders. So this one's what is it? Identifying vowels and consonants. And I'm sure there's even free stuff on it. There's so much free stuff for pre-Kers and kindergartners online that you don't have to buy a formal curriculum. I've just been real impressed with this curriculum. Okay, some of this I bought online. And some of it I got, I think a workbook. This was a workbook that I just tore the pages out. I cut the cards out and laminated them. And so this is kind of pre-K-ish, and it's, you have this, and they can color it with dry erase markers. And then they get the cards and they do sequencing, so we have that kind of stuff. And I laminated them because I had this with my first when he was little, and now I have 3 other children. So this has lasted through 4 children. This is just a game where you roll the dice, and whatever you roll, you read across. And it starts out with letters, and then I think it gets all the way up to easy words to more complicated words. But it's a whole list. And some I think are just words, and then it gets into actual sentences. Yeah, see, that's just words, and then that's sentences. Anyway, but it's a fun way to get them reading. And so I just save these things as I find them, and I throw them into my box. I have a big thing down here for flashcards and little games. I think I got these at Target. Very pre-K kindergarten cards. I got these from church. This is Bible stories and character building. course, CC stuff. I got these from Half a Hundred Acre Wood that works on cursive. I can't open it with one hand. These are cool. I really like these. So this is to practice the cursive. Oh, of course, that's not the one. Maybe I should just pull one out in the middle. So this is our O, so they can get a pencil or their finger and they feel that groove and they trace it. And it's just getting them to learn muscle memory for cursive. Or you can use them to introduce letters and sounds recognizing cursive. So there's a lot of uses for these. Anyway, but I keep a box that I just throw all that in and I can dig in there and find what I'm looking for. Another idea we did for pre-K is I make these notebooks, and these are just from workbooks I got at like Mardell's or online. This is three workbooks put together, and I put them in paper savers, and so she gets her dry erase markers and tries to copy it, and we circle, we try to do identification. There's numbers, and then there's in the back, I think, some other activities. Oh yeah, count by dot to dot, and then colors and shapes. So what I do is I get my 3-year-old, almost 4-year-old, and she sits down and does stuff out of this. Today she was drawing her shapes. Oh, here, I think this is what she was doing these. So she's doing this while I'm helping my first grader, and when my first grader gets done, they both are done and they can go play. This is one I also put together. Part of it's a workbook, and it's just introduction of like writing. And I think it even shows her like how to hold a pencil, you know, to like lines and moving your pencil around, having control, to like alphabet. And then these I got online, free printables at makinglearningfun.com. So there's a lot of stuff out there that you can just print online. I recommend doing the paper savers, especially if you have multiple children. This has lasted us through, we're on our 4th kid. And I've never had to replace the paper savers or the notebooks, but they've all used them. So those are some ideas of things you can do for pre-K and kindergarten when it comes to like phonics and letters and writing, introducing them to penmanship. Just drawing. The act of drawing helps with that fine motor skill. So let them draw, and then do lots of reading. Lots of books, lots of reading. And really and then math concepts, which I have oh yeah, let me show you those. Where did I put those? I don't know. Oh, maybe here. So like these books, I got these from Target. This again is just a dry erase thing. Got that from Target in their dollar section. Math concepts. So this is like pre-K. So this is like bigger, most, less, more, counting your numbers, you know, just general math concepts, patterns, all of that you could do yourself with like little things like that, or you can get a workbook, but for pre-K and kindergarten this is enough. So dollar section at Target. And then this is alphabet. It's just some more identification and writing alphabet. These books my mom got us, and they're almost out, but we're on our 4th kid. So anything like this works. You don't have to have like a formal big curriculum. Some stuff like this works for those younger years. Now for my older kids, so Lori, my 1st, 2nd, and 3rd graders, we do Saxon, we do this, but the lesson is too long, so we don't really do the lesson. We just do the worksheets, and I introduce the new concept to her, and she works through her worksheets. When I grade them and she's done, I put them in her notebook. And so this is where she keeps any kind of reference charts for her that she might need to use during the day. Like in her lessons, she has to find like a 4-letter number word. So this helps with that. Days of the week. So I just put those in paper savers. And then we file her math here. Or we have her reading log here. Her CC supplemental, like all her penmanship work, will go here. And then here's all her math that she's already started this year on. We just file it away here. And I don't keep score, like I don't, Saxon does provide a grade sheet where you can keep grades and like her timed math, but I typically keep all that. And at the end of the year, I just get all the papers out of here and I put my lesson plans on top and I rubber band them and put them in storage. So this will be full at the end of the year. For my big kids, they're doing this Saxon math, which I love. I like it more than the younger Saxon math. And so they just read their lesson and do their work in a spiral, and I just grade it. And in a folder like this, they have from the curriculum their timed math. So we time them and they do it, and then we just record. Like Alex here, he did 7 minutes and he got 100 out of 100 on his whatever chart that he had to do that day. And so that's what we do for his math and Ellie's math. And then in the back here we have our essential stuff. So they are part of the essentials program, and we do a lot of chart copy work. Charts about nouns and verbs. Where's my verb chart? Verbs. And this is their big one, sentence classification. Anyway, they copy this. I'll set a timer for 30 minutes and they copy this. So this is all their stuff. It's all on paper savers, and they use